For decades, millions of children in America have lived under a cloud that brings stress to their daily lives and limits their future opportunities. This cloud is the achievement gap. In education, the term achievement gap refers to the disparity in academic performance between groups of students. A number of different groups experience achievement gaps relative to their peers. The achievement gap shows up in grades, standardized test scores, course selection, dropout rates, and college completion rates, among other success measures. Did you know that by the time high-income children start school, they have spent about 400 more hours on literacy activities than low-income children? Or that the gap between high and low-income students born in 2001 grew as much as 40% as compared to those children born in the 1970s. Furthermore, students who attended full-day kindergarten showed more progress in math than those who only attended for half a day. It has also been found that across the United States, 6th graders in the richest school districts are 4 grade levels ahead of children in the poorest districts. Additionally, there are large gaps between white children and Hispanic classmates. The gaps are largest in places with large economic disparities. If the achievement gap is affecting such a large range of students so negatively, why hasn't it been fixed? In truth, numerous programs have been put forward over the years to address the achievement gap. Successful schools have found that holding high expectations for student achievement, learning support, and curriculum alignment and standard-based instruction are just a few strategies that has helped their school close the achievement gap. While some have shown positive benefits, overall the achievement gap persists, and in some cases it has grown. This is because the achievement gap is a wicked problem. A wicked problem is a social or cultural problem that is difficult or impossible to solve for as many as 4 reasons. Incomplete or contradictory knowledge, the number of people and opinions involved, the large economic burden, and the interconnected nature of these problems with other problems. Tame problems, no matter how complex, feature consistent variables and objective outcomes. In contrast, wicked problems have incomplete, changing, and contradictory requirements. These problems often have complex interdependencies among a large number of contextually bound variables. Due to this, solutions to wicked problems becomes difficult to realize or even recognize. In trying to solve the wicked problem of the achievement gap, we followed the procedures described by Warren Berger in his book, A More Beautiful Question. Berger mentions the why, what if, how sequence represents a basic logical progression, drawing in part on several existing models that break down the creative problem-solving process. Our think tank group first met to speculate about the problem through the generation of why questions. These questions then progressed into formulating how questions, and finally through research, examination of the problem, and a multitude of questioning, our think tank began to recognize the formation of common themes. These common themes were then narrowed down and prioritized in order to form 4 guiding questions. In order to dive deeper into the wicked problem of the achievement gap, a survey was conducted involving 36 teachers ranging from kindergarten through high school. 75% of the teachers work in an urban setting, and 83.3% work in Title I schools. The data showed that cell phones are used primarily to communicate with parents, with 41.7% of teachers expressing phones being the most used tool for communication. However, the data showed that 63.9% of the teachers stated parents are not receiving the materials when sent home with students. The survey also showed that 94% of the teachers saw value in differentiation, but 75% still feel overwhelmed and needed continued support in providing differentiated materials. An additional discovery was that 91.7% of the teachers felt that they would benefit from more frequent communication with peer teachers. The last section of the survey conducted was in regards to class size, and if teachers had observed any effects on student performance. An overwhelming 91.7% felt that class size does affect student achievement, and ideal class sizes should be between 20 to 25 students. The final question on the survey required teachers to rank what problem, if solved, could assist in closing the achievement gap. Overwhelmingly, teachers that were surveyed said smaller class sizes were the best way to close the achievement gap. The second choice was having differentiated materials. While the data did not demonstrate how to have smaller classes, it did help us determine the importance of looking into ways to include more differentiation and more small group moments in schools. Through the use of questioning, research, examination, and survey data, our think tank was able to develop a possible solution to assist in closing the achievement gap. It is important to note that when working with a wicked problem, there is no simple or perfect solution. Instead, the focus is finding the best bad solution that will assist with reversing the achievement gap. With that thinking, our think tank developed a solution called Bridging the Gap. Bridging the Gap is an online tool that sorts NWEA test data, grouping students by scores within a given domain, and provides teacher-developed resources to teachers. Here's how it works. The latest NWEA scores of a class are uploaded to the Bridging the Gap program. Students' data is sorted in each domain. Students are grouped in 10-point ranges for each domain. These teams of students are put onto their own roster, which includes the NWEA requirements to raise their scores 10 points, and a link to the Bridging the Gap library where teachers upload and share resources that they use to address the specific 10-point range within the specific domain. Bridging the Gap gives teachers the tools that they need to easily differentiate instruction. The data is sorted and analyzed automatically, and the teaching resources come directly from the teachers who have faced the same challenges. Additionally, by using the NWEA's Descartes, outcomes are targeted not on a broad content standard, but rather on the specific next steps for improvement within a domain and standard. This type of ease of access to responsive and well-curated material is what teachers need to differentiate effectively. Not only does it make it easier for teachers to get quality resources to specific students that need them, Bridging the Gap makes it possible for teachers to share their resources with parents, support staff, and administration. For example, let's say that a second grade teacher knows that she will have a para in her room to support her for 1 hour a day. She can have the para take each of the 2 lowest performing groups in math and reading for a half an hour small group instruction. The para can then use the lesson plans provided in Bridging the Gap, thereby making it easier to maximize the benefit of lower student-to-teacher ratios when available. The teacher and para can rest assured that they are providing the students with specific material necessary and knowing that the lesson or activity being used was successful when previously used by another teacher to address the same challenge. In our survey results, teachers stated that they feel as if parents don't receive the material sent home with their students. Teachers also told us that they would benefit from easier communication with teachers inside and outside of their building. Bridging the Gap provides a hub of information for parents and teachers. There is no single solution to a wicked problem like this, and Bridging the Gap is not going to completely solve the problem of the achievement gap. However, using technology to link together the pedagogical and content knowledge of teachers in a way that specifically addresses the students' needs based on assessment, Bridging the Gap can make it easier for teachers to effectively differentiate instruction and collectively work towards closing the achievement gap.